Somewhere right now, a grown adult is scanning a fake parking sticker, buying tickets from an account named Real Jessica Official, and opening a text that says Final Notice in 12 capital letters. This list is for those moments, and it gets more expensive from here. 1. While pumping gas. A man gets a text saying his bank account is frozen and taps the link with one soapy thumb. The page asks for a login, a code, and one more urgent confirmation. 10 minutes later, his real banking app opens to a balance that looks recently vacuumed. 2. Outside an apartment building. A woman sends a small holding deposit for a marketplace sofa that was supposedly too popular to reserve any other way. She reaches the address with a rented dolly and a cheerful plan. The porch has no sofa, no cellar, and one elderly cat watching her stand there with empty straps. 3. In a grocery parking lot, someone agrees to pay for a stranger's tiny mirror scratch before insurance gets involved. Paint transfer looks dramatic until a damp paper towel removes half of it. Because surface scuffs often sit above the clear coat instead of inside the panel, the damage shrinks while the payment does not. The dent stayed. His cash did not. 4. When a laptop flashes a loud warning about viruses and a helpful phone number, panic dials faster than reason. A calm voice asks for remote access, opens black windows full of fake errors, and points at them like smoke. By the time the screen looks clean again, the credit card statement is the only thing still infected. 5. Beside the automatic doors, 2 smiling volunteers collect storm relief donations under a banner printed slightly too blurry to trust. Bills disappear into a plastic jar, names go onto a clipboard, and the folding table comes down 20 minutes later. That folding table looked official right up to the van leaving. 6. Waiting in a concert line. 3 friends buy last-minute miracle seats from a reseller whose profile picture includes a golden retriever and a graduation cap. The screenshot looks real enough to calm them until the scanner flashes red at the gate. Their tickets remain digital art while the opening song starts behind the wall. 7. After touring nothing and meeting nobody, a couple wires an apartment deposit because the landlord claims to be out of town but very honest. They receive a welcome email, a fake lease, and a lockbox code that opens exactly nothing. The only real resident at that address is the current tenant staring through the blinds. 8. Before breakfast, a driver gets a text warning that unpaid tolls will trigger extra penalties by noon. The message contains a neat link, a countdown tone in the wording, and a fake seal at the top. Because official agencies rely on domain control and mailed notices, a random payment page on a lookalike address proves only that urgency can be copy-pasted. The toll stayed imaginary. The charge became real. 9. At a gas station, a stranger in a pressed shirt offers a thick gold chain for just enough to reach the airport. The jewelry feels heavy, the story arrives polished, and the cash leaves fast. Half an hour later, the chain turns a neck slightly green and a wallet very light. 10. During a sleepy office afternoon, an employee receives a payroll message about updating direct deposit before processing closes. The portal asks for credentials, then asks again with cleaner graphics. Payday arrives right on time, just in somebody else's account. Nothing says trust like a blinking router and disappearing payroll. 11. When a delivery text claims a package cannot be redelivered without a $2 address correction, the amount looks so harmless it almost feels polite. A card goes in the website thanks them, and then several new purchases begin marching across the bank app. The box never existed, but the charges developed a full itinerary. 12. Inside an airport terminal, a traveler buys a premium lounge pass from a man wearing a lanyard and speaking in practiced whispers about sold-out access. The QR code scans nowhere, the desk staff squint once, and the seller is already rolling another empty suitcase toward another gate. Cheap upholstery in a hallway is not a lounge. 13. Selling an old camera online. A woman gets an eager buyer who accidentally sends too much and begs for the difference back before his spouse notices. A cashier's check arrives thick, glossy, and almost theatrical. Because banks can release provisional funds before the paper fully fails verification, the app balance can briefly lie with a straight face. The refund leaves first and the check collapses second. 14. After a polished video interview, a remote job candidate receives a welcome packet, a fake HR signature, and instructions to buy company equipment from one approved vendor. The vendor link leads to a payment page with urgent language and cheerful blue buttons. The laptop never ships, but the team keeps sending thumbs-up emojis for 2 more days. 15. While movers carry boxes with impressive speed, the final price swells from manageable to predatory between the truck and the curb. New fees appear for stairs, wrapping long carries, and the existence of furniture itself. The cardboard check cleared only inside his own head. 16. Scrolling disaster updates after a major storm. A man donates to a rescue fundraiser using a logo copied from a real charity and a spelling mistake nobody notices until later. The page shows crying families, muddy roads, and a progress bar jumping upward. Somewhere, a thief buys lunch, while a real shelter counts wet blankets. 17. When a restaurant manager gets a call saying the power will be shut off within the hour unless a balance is cleared immediately, panic starts boiling faster than the soup. Customers are seated, fryers are hot, and the caller knows just enough account language to sound dangerous. The lights stay on, but the register gets drained anyway. 18. At a busy lunch spot, diners scan the QR code stuck on the table because menus are now apparently adhesive. The fake page looks close enough to the real one to slide through without a fight. Since a QR code only stores an address and not any proof of who placed it there, the sticker's confidence does all the work. The appetizers arrive, but the card gets served twice. 19. Searching for a puppy after midnight, a couple falls for a listing full of sleepy eyes, tiny paws, and a breeder who writes in perfect paragraphs about rehoming fees. More photos arrive on request, then a shipping crate fee, then a vaccine fee, then silence. The dog remains a folder full of borrowed pictures. 20. Near the mall entrance, a man with a laminated badge says he is collecting signatures for a neighborhood safety program and just needs a small activation donation. The clipboard is crowded with names, the pitch is smooth, and the badge bends like cereal box cardboard when security touches it. The fake badge looks sturdy until the mall cop bent it. 21. Late at night, a lonely man starts messaging someone whose selfies look expensive and whose sympathy arrives with perfect timing. Within a week, affection turns into investment tips, then into screenshots of impossible gains. He never hears her laugh, but he sends enough money to fund several versions of it. 22. During an oil change, a phone lights up with a final notice about an expiring vehicle warranty. The caller already knows the make, the model, and how to weaponize that information against a bored waiting room brain. By the end of the call, the only thing fully covered is the scammer's afternoon. 23. Preparing for a street fair. A small business owner pays a last open booth fee to a coordinator who sends branded forms and cheerful check marks. The event date is real. The organizer is not, because a valid contract depends on an actual authorized party and not just matching fonts on a PDF. The receipt becomes decorative trash by Saturday morning. Her canopy goes up in the driveway instead. 24. Before any showing happens, an apartment hunter is told the application fee must be paid first because demand is insane this week. The photos show white countertops, warm light, and zero evidence that the place is already occupied by someone else's shoes. The payment lands instantly. The viewing keeps moving to tomorrow forever. 25. Beside a downtown meter, a driver scans a fresh QR sticker because digging for coins feels ancient and the city seems modern enough to do this now. The page takes the payment, spins once, and thanks him with professional enthusiasm. That QR code bought exactly one thing: a stuck gate. 26. Listing a used couch online. A seller gets a message from a serious buyer who wants to verify she is real before sending a pickup service. A 6-digit code arrives, she forwards it, and then her account is gone before the cushions are. The couch stays in the living room, wearing the expression of a witness. 27. After a funeral notice spreads through a local group chat, a fundraiser appears with sepia photos, solemn wording, and a target amount that feels heartbreaking but reasonable. Friends donate quickly because grief makes speed look like kindness. By evening, the page vanishes, leaving candles, sympathy comments, and one very angry cousin. 28. Opening the mailbox, a homeowner finds an official-looking notice about securing title records for a fast processing fee. The letter uses courthouse language, blocky stamps, and enough fear to make ordinary paper feel urgent. Since county property records are already public filings and not fragile subscriptions that need yearly rescue, the fee protects nothing except the scammer's printer toner budget. The seal looked legal. The website looked rented. 29. At the airport curb, a man in a reflective vest grabs 2 suitcases and says curbside service is cash only because the card machine is updating. He moves with such confidence that refusal feels awkward for 3 whole steps. Then he asks for more money at the elevator and suddenly becomes impossible to locate. 30. Outside a church fair, a seller offers raffle books for a youth trip that no one on the church staff has ever heard about. The pitch includes smiling photos, a laminated sheet, and a folding chair that suggests history. Even the folding chair looked embarrassed. 31. When a stranger in branded coveralls knocks and says half the block has termites, homeowners start imagining the walls already crawling. He points at vague dust taps the porch with authority and recommends a cash discount if treatment starts today. The truck has no company number, but it leaves tire marks like a signature. 32. Standing at checkout, a shopper downloads a coupon app promoted by a sticker on the cart and enters card details to unlock member-only instant savings. The promised discount is $3. The unpromised card charges arrive in a more ambitious range by the time the groceries reach the trunk. 33. Demonstrating miracle bedbug spray at a neighborhood expo, a salesman crushes one bug under a shoe and credits the bottle anyway. Tiny test strips, change-colored dramatic photos come out, and terrified homeowners start buying cases. Because pesticide effectiveness depends on active ingredients, concentration, and contact time rather than a loud demonstration near a folding banner, panic becomes the main product on display. The bugs were theoretical. The receipt was immediate. 34. Scrolling a giveaway post promising luxury cookware, a woman notices the comments full of confetti emojis and OMG I won too. She pays a shipping fee to claim the prize and receives one email saying her package is preparing for fulfillment. The only thing that ships is her patience. 35. In the mailbox sits a letter promising a refund from an extended warranty she does not remember buying, but would happily stop paying for. A customer service number answers, quickly asks for confirmation details, and collects card information to process the credit. The printer ink dried faster than that refund promise. 36. Entering a downtown garage, drivers hand cash to a man with a handheld scanner and a neon vest because the machine at the gate appears broken and everyone behind them is honking. He waves cars through with heroic urgency. An hour later, real attendants are still charging everybody on the way out. 37. Planning an international trip too late. A traveler uses a rush visa service with glowing reviews. Stock photos of passports and a promise of approvals in impossible time. Emails arrive with seals, timelines, and 0 real case numbers. At the airport, the airline agent delivers the only honest sentence in the whole transaction. 38. During lunch, a caller says years of back taxes qualify for an immediate settlement if paperwork begins today. The voice is warm, the jargon sounds expensive, and the payment plan starts with a compliance retainer. Real tax agencies send notices with traceable case references and appeal paths. Random callers demanding same-day money are just renting the costume of authority. The fear was federal. The invoice was homemade. 39. In a suburban driveway, a solar rep unfolds charts showing giant savings, tiny payments, and a roof apparently made for financial miracles. The tablet glows, the signature box shines, and the contract hides fees like spare screws in carpet. Months later, the panels exist, but the savings remain a rumor with branding. 40. On a crowded sidewalk, a woman sells handmade candles for shelter beds tonight, while a man beside her taps names into a tablet and thanks donors for being part of the mission. The labels are pretty, the story is tidy, and no shelter has ever heard of them. 3 candles, 1 clipboard, 0 actual charity. 41. Near midnight, a man gets a call from someone who sounds exactly like his brother, saying he has been arrested and needs help fast. The voice shakes, the background is noisy, and another person grabs the phone claiming to be an officer. By dawn, the brother is asleep, unharmed, and very confused about the missing money. 42. After ignoring one call too many, a woman answers and hears that she missed jury duty and now owes an immediate fine to avoid arrest. The caller knows her county, her zip code, and how to make silence feel expensive. Courthouses do many things, but taking panic payments from a supermarket parking lot is not one of them. 43. During open enrollment season, a broker offers better coverage for less through a polished site and a deadline that seems designed by people who hate breathing. Forms are signed, premiums are paid, and digital cards appear instantly. Insurance only exists when an actual carrier binds the policy inside regulated records, not when a template spits out a PDF with a logo. The clinic desk reads the card once and slides it back. 44. Running a bakery. A woman receives a huge custom cake order for a corporate event and a check for more than the quoted amount because the driver needs to be paid separately. The frosting gets ordered, the schedule gets cleared, and the check later folds in on itself like wet cardboard. The only celebration happens at the scammer's bank. 45. Hoping for a break, an aspiring actor pays for a guaranteed callback workshop advertised with glossy headshots, a warehouse address, and language about industry access. 50 people line up, read one sentence, and get sold premium packages in 3 escalating tiers. The headshot stayed. The company vanished. 46. Locked out after dark, a tenant finds a locksmith at promising fast service and starting at $19. The van arrives unmarked. The technician drills first, and the price multiplies in neat stages while the door hangs half open. Cheap numbers on a search page can become very expensive metal shavings on a floor. 47. Knocking door to door at sunset. A neighborly salesman offers security cameras at a discount because his crew is already working nearby. The brochure shows clean porches, happy phones, and 1 gold badge clipped where trust usually goes. By the time the deposit clears, the nearby crew turns out to be a concept. 48. After a canceled flight, stranded travelers crowd around a pop-up refund assistance desk created from a rolling podium and 2 polo shirts. The workers collect booking references and cards for a priority recovery fee. Charge reversals and airline refunds move through merchant records, authorization codes, and official passenger files, not through a folding table parked beside a pretzel stand. The gate changed. Their money changed planes too. 49. Buying limited edition sneakers. A teenager old enough to pay rent but not calm, Down uses a private escrow service recommended by the seller. The tracking page updates the chat stays responsive, and the shoes in the photos look aggressively real. What arrives is an empty box containing enough tissue paper to qualify as sarcasm. 50. After a minor fender bender, a helpful tow truck appears before the actual roadside service can even answer. The driver speaks in emergency tones, hooks the car fast, and introduces storage fees only after the vehicle disappears behind a gate. A real tow truck did not arrive. 51. At a county fair, a psychic in a velvet booth spots a man wearing a worried face and announces there is dark energy around his wallet and lower back. She sells him a cleansing candle, a blessed pouch, and a premium reading bundle that costs more than his back brace. The incense burns evenly. The future remains unbothered. 52. Browsing storage auction listings, a buyer sees photos of bins containing power tools, sealed cases, and 1 suspiciously visible corner of luxury packaging. The winning bid lands, the locker opens, and the boxes suddenly contain old magazines, plus a treadmill missing the interesting parts. Somebody staged a still life and called it inventory. 53. Just before dinner, a caller demands payment on an old debt and threatens garnishment court action and public embarrassment if the balance is not settled immediately. The amount sounds familiar enough to hurt. Debt collection rights depend on documented ownership, itemized records, and time limits that do not magically disappear because a stranger raises his voice. The threat was loud. The paperwork stayed invisible. 54. Desperate to escape a timeshare, a couple hires an exit company that promises legal specialist, insider knowledge, and total freedom in 90 days. The office has framed certificates, sleek furniture, and a receptionist trained to nod like a verdict. 1 year later, the timeshare still exists and now has a companion invoice. 55. On a sunny afternoon, a man in a courier shirt says a signature package requires a small release fee because new carrier rules are ridiculous now. The box on his dolly looks real, the scanner beeps once, and the uniform does most of the work. That porch stayed empty except for a confused doormat. 56. After spring arrives, a handyman offers to rebuild a deck for half the local quote because he has leftover lumber from a nearby job. He measures, quickly collects a materials deposit, and promises to start Monday at 7 sharp. Monday arrives with bird sunlight and 0 lumber. 57. Trying to save a struggling shop, an owner pays a consultant who guarantees access to small business grant pools most people never hear about. The consultant produces jargon optimism and forms that look suspiciously like public documents with new headers. The grant never materializes, but the invoice arrives with remarkable discipline. 58. Social feeds fill with cheap duct cleaning ads showing black vents, dramatic before and after photos, and a truck photo that appears in 5 different cities on 5 different accounts. The technicians arrive, wave a vacuum hose around, and leave in 14 minutes. Airflow depends on actual obstruction removal and sealed system work, not brief noise near a register. Dust stayed home. The crew did not. 59. Chasing better returns, a man moves savings into an app promising daily interest numbers that climb like a carnival game scoreboard. The interface is smooth, the graph is hypnotic, and customer support types with suspiciously perfect grammar. One maintenance notice later, the app is gone, and so is his sudden genius. 60. On a quiet Tuesday, a small company receives an invoice for copier maintenance that nobody remembers ordering, but everybody assumes somebody else handled. The paper looks routine enough to slip through ordinary fatigue. The fake invoice looked brave next to the real accountant. 61. Planning a wedding on a budget, a couple hires a photographer whose portfolio is elegant, affordable, and partly stolen from other websites. A deposit secures the date a timeline gets discussed, and then replies slow to a single emoji every few days. The camera never arrives, but the stress shows up fully charged. 62. In a bank parking lot, a buyer agrees to take a cashier's check for a used car because the document has watermarks, serious fonts, and the general attitude of legitimacy. Keys change hands before the teller can verify anything. The sedan leaves in excellent condition, and the payment does not. 63. Selling fear in a hardware aisle, a company offers mail-in mold tests that promise to reveal invisible danger inside every home. Petri dishes bloom, the results sound catastrophic, and the upsell phone call lands right on schedule. Mold spores drift through ordinary air all the time, so a dish that grows, something proves existence, not disaster. The science looked spooky. The basement still smelled normal. 64. Watching clips from a famous actor's interview circuit, a woman buys wellness drops from a site using his face, his quotes, and absolutely none of his actual approval. The bottle arrives with a gold label and vague claims about energy focus and cellular support. Celebrity lighting can be borrowed faster than celebrity consent. 65. Streaming from a rented penthouse set, a mentor promises a simple blueprint for 6-figure online income if viewers buy the premium level before midnight. Ring lights glow off hired furniture while comments fill with suspiciously eager success stories. Even the ring light could not light that contract. 66. After a hailstorm, a salesman offers discounted windows because his crew is wrapping up the neighborhood and can squeeze in one more house today. He taps cracked glass with concern, draws arrows on a tablet, and asks for half up front. The only thing installed by Friday is regret. 67. At a cruise terminal, a porter insists luggage tags must be reprocessed because the color strip is outdated and the line system has changed this season. He has a Carta vest and just enough irritation to seem real. The bags make it aboard anyway, but the extra cash sails separately. 68. Standing by a casino ATM, a helpful stranger offers to guide a tired tourist through a new security step on the touchscreen. Buttons get pressed, the card gets handled, and the stranger vanishes before the machine finishes thinking. Payment cards authenticate through encrypted chip exchanges with the terminal, not through random fingers providing live commentary. Luck left the table and moved to the parking lot. 69. At a charity gala, a business owner buys a sponsor table from a slick intermediary who claims the non-profit outsourced premium placements this year. He receives logos, menus, and a seating chart polished enough to frame. Event night arrives, and the real organizers politely explain that his table exists nowhere in the room. 70. Driving through a neighborhood, a crew offers same-day driveway sealing because they have leftover material and hate to waste it. The black coating goes down, fast, smells dramatic, and rubs off on shoes before dinner. The handshake ended. The truck never turned in again. 71. Staring at a points balance drained by a fake travel site months earlier. A traveler hires a recovery service that promises to trace loyalty assets across partner systems. The phrase sounds technical enough to deserve money. Weeks later, the only recovered item is a new layer of embarrassment. 72. Inside an office break room, a woman collects donations for a memorial bench supposedly being installed at a local park for a beloved retired coworker. The photo board is sweet, the story is specific, and nobody thinks to call the park until after payday. There is no bench order, only laminated grief. 73. At a mall kiosk, a vendor sells metallic stickers that allegedly make phone batteries last longer by redirecting waste energy through a patented layer. Demo phones are bright, warm, and suspiciously plugged in behind the table. Lithium-ion batteries lose power through chemistry and load, not because they forgot a shiny decal. The sticker stayed on. The percentage kept dropping. 74. Needing a document notarized fast. A man uses a storefront service that promises instant processing, premium seals, and after-hours legality. The stamp lands with satisfying force, the fee hurts, and the receiving office rejects the page before lunch. Ink can look official without holding any authority at all. 75. In a strip mall kiosk, a pop-up teeth whitening company offers dramatic before and after results in 20 minutes under a sagging vinyl banner and 3 ring lights. Customers sit in folding chairs wearing protective bibs and hopeful expressions. The fake clinic banner sagged before the smile did. 76. Returning a package. A shopper hands a sealed box to a man near the parking lot who says he works overflow for the official returns desk and can save everybody time. He scans a code, gives a receipt-looking slip, and loads the box into an unmarked hatchback. The refund never starts because the journey never officially begins. 77. Touring a stylish co-working space by video. A freelancer subleases a private office from someone who says the management team is traveling. Deposit paid, Wi-Fi, promised access code received. On move-in day, the desk is occupied by another person with the exact same story and a much heavier monitor. 78. In a hotel ballroom, a traveling appraiser offers instant gold valuations for families cleaning out old jewelry boxes. Chains get weighed, rings get inspected, and low offers arrive wrapped in fake sympathy. Gold value comes from measurable purity and mass, not from a stranger frowning theatrically over a velvet tray. The scale was real. The price was fiction. 79. Hoping to adopt a rescue pet from another state, a woman pays a transport fee, then a crate fee, then a temperature control fee because the animal deserves comfort and her heart is now financially exploitable. Tracking updates move across a map with impressive confidence. The rescue story keeps traveling after the pet stops existing. 80. From a warehouse district, a seller advertises truckloads of returned gym equipment at liquidation prices. The photos show benches, plates, and treadmills arranged like a strength training paradise. The gym bag arrived. The equipment never did. 81. During a kitchen remodel craze, a crew offers miracle cabinet resurfacing for a fraction of replacement cost if homeowners book before the trailer leaves town. They sand one door wave a sample and collect deposits all afternoon. The only finished surface by next week is the driveway after rain dries. 82. In a strip center 2 months before tax season, a storefront promises instant refunds, maximum credits, and exclusive pathways other preparers somehow miss. Clients leave smiling with advance cards and complicated confidence. Later, the letters arrive, and none of them are thank you notes. 83. Online ads push tiny anti-radiation chips that stick to a phone case and allegedly block harmful waves while improving focus sleep and spiritual posture for all anyone knows. Testimonials' glow diagrams sparkle and the adhesive looks medically ambitious. Radio signals do not stop respecting physics because a sticker found a pastel color palette. The case got decorated. The signal bars stayed rude. 84. Meeting in a supermarket lot, a used car seller explains the title is clean. The flood history rumors are nonsense, and the dashboard lights came on only because the battery was recently reset. The engine runs smooth for exactly long enough to trap hope. By the first hard rain, the floor mats start telling the truth. 85. After the main show sells out, a promoter offers luminous after-party wristbands through stories posted from a profile full of bass drops and blurry selfies. Dozens pay because the venue name is real and the graphics move professionally. The concert wristband glowed over an empty parking lot. 86. Fascinated by family history, a man orders a framed heritage plaque from a company that promises noble crests, ancient meaning, and deep ancestral verification. The document arrives on thick paper with a lion, a ribbon, and invented confidence. Decorative mythology always looks better once it is matted and centered. 87. At a free steak dinner seminar, retirees hear about safety guaranteed income and market-proof serenity delivered by a presenter whose smile has strong commission energy. The charts climb, the risks shrink, and pens appear at exactly the emotional moment. Dessert lands just as the signature pages do. 88. In a hotel conference room, a coin investment company sells silver and gold packages as emergency wealth protection, complete with patriotic slides and prices floating suspiciously above the actual market. Buyers are urged to act before institutional demand drains supply by the weekend. Bullion value tracks weight, purity, and current pricing, not applause between projector slides. The charts looked rare. The markup was common, 89. Over coffee, an owner hands over apartment keys after receiving first month, last month, and a security deposit in one confident digital transfer. The keys feel heavy enough to symbolize adulthood. At the building entrance, none of them open anything except a new level of public humiliation. 90. Planning a beach escape. Two friends rent a gorgeous vacation apartment with clean white walls, ocean views, and a price suspiciously lower than everything else nearby. The host sends check-in instructions, local tips, and a lock code that looks comfortingly specific. 2 suitcases, 1 locked apartment door. 91. After a storm, gutter cleaners sweep through a block, offering immediate service because clogged systems are apparently 1 rainfall away from civilization collapsing. Ladders go up, leaves come down, and surprise repair charges appear once everybody is already on the roof. Panic is a profitable accessory when carried beside aluminum ladders. 92. A frantic pet owner posts a reward for a lost dog, then gets a call from someone claiming they found him, but need a small transfer first because they are far out and low on gas. The caller knows the dog's name from the post. The leash stays by the door while the money takes a ride. 93. An email announces that antivirus protection has expired and the computer is now exposed to immediate threats. Unstable performance and words printed in a color designed to raise blood pressure. The renewal button leads to a payment form with polished branding and very fake urgency. Software licenses validate through vendor accounts and signed updates, not through random inbox alarms wearing red headlines. The laptop kept working. The card did extra work. 94. Searching passive income ideas, a man buys access to a proven vending machine route that allegedly includes locations. Machines and account handoff from a retiring owner. Spreadsheets arrive, maps appear, and every listed location says the machines were removed months ago. The only stocked item in the whole business model is fantasy. 95. After months of messaging gifts and midnight calls, a woman drives to the airport to meet the man who has promised this trip will finally end the distance. She stands under the arrivals board with flowers and a fully charged phone. The dating profile smiled. The airport remained empty. 96. At an electronics mall, a trade-in kiosk offers top dollar for an old phone if owners complete a diagnostic transfer on the spot. The screen mirrors passwords get entered and the valuation drops the second the useful data has already moved. The phone stays cracked. The accounts become suddenly adventurous. 97. Buried in student debt fatigue. A borrower pays a company promising instant loan forgiveness through insider pathways and priority filing status. They collect account credentials, administration fees, and permission to sound official forever. Months later, the loans remain, but now they have a scam attached to them like a sidecar. 98. At a car expo, a detailing booth sells lifetime ceramic coating passes with water-beating demos so dramatic they look computer-assisted. Hood panels gleam, bottles sparkle, and buyers picture permanent shine without future effort. Durable coatings rely on prep curing and actual applied material thickness. Not one spray in a sales smile under halogen lights. The fender looked glossy for one afternoon. 99. In a rented conference room, a franchising guru sells turnkey food truck opportunities using glossy renderings, projected profits, and a countdown clock that somehow resets for every new group. Deposits lock in territories nobody else can find on a map. The only truck in the whole presentation is parked in a slideshow. 100. Trying to buy designer resale safely, a shopper pays an authentication escrow fee through a lookalike platform linked by the seller, complete with countdown timer logo and buyer protection language. The handbag photos are sharp enough to smell expensive. The platform disappears overnight and leaves the timer frozen at 0 like a tiny monument. 101. On New Year's Eve, a promoter sells premium table packages to a rooftop party using flashy reels, confetti clips, and promises of bottle service under city lights. Guests arrive dressed like the countdown matters. The confetti cannon fired. The vendor email bounced. The one scam nobody admits is how often embarrassment does the cleanup for the thief. Which fake official setup looked most believable to you? The parking QR, the charity table, or the airport helpers? Subscribe for more.